So,
But the point is,
Yeah.
we should, as Bitcoiners, be cautious to elevate people so far up, because I don't know, one of the lessons from the block size war was you shouldn't do that, because you call this guy Bitcoin Jesus. Now the media is calling him Bitcoin Jesus, and it's Bitcoin Jesus says you need bigger blocks, and this is not the real Bitcoin. So it's a double-edged sword. Like, he can promote Bitcoin massively to the mainstream media, but if he's on the wrong side when those lines are drawn, that's gonna hurt.
and how do we know what the wrong side is?
We'll know when we get
Roger
there.
and the rats he Piper to think he was on the right side.
Oh, they still think they're on the right side.
know,
But
of
I mean,
course.
the market decides, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about the war. Like you said, as a new, fresh Bitcoiner coming in, you didn't know which was which.
Yeah. It was hard.
There is going to be a right and a wrong. So we'll find out what the battle is and what the sides are. But I'm hopeful I'll be on the right side.
And you think potentially that could lead to another fork?
I mean, there's always a chance for a fork. If there was no chance for forks, then Bitcoin would not be open and permissionless. But the market will decide. But it's going to be an awkward transition. Like, you remember back in those days when we weren't sure. Well, I was sure, but a lot of people weren't sure. Is it going to be the big block fork or the small block fork?
Well, the futures helped with that.
Yeah, the Bitfinex market. But it was not a time at which people were absolutely certain. A lot of people pinged me after the block size war and said, thanks for maintaining your stance, and they felt that it was some sort of assurance that things were going to go right, and they did, fortunately. But it's not like we knew. A lot of people didn't know it was going to turn out the way it did.
I don't think anyone coming in now and they'll hear about the block size wars will be able to fully comprehend how big a deal it was and what happened.
It was scary for a lot of people.
Eric Lombrosa, I had a long conversation with him and he told me some scary stuff. I always think John Carvalho never got the credit he deserved, because I remember when I was looking at it, I was going through all the emails on the mailing list, and these changes were coming. These changes to the code were coming, and John just held this firm line in it. He was just rejecting all of it. And I really don't think he's ever got the credit he deserves for holding his line. You're holding a finger up.
I've heard things, and I talked to some people at Maideira at the conference at Atlantis, and they're saying that Carvalho's disillusioned with Lightning now, and he's leaning towards big blocks were right.
Well, so he said that to me. So I don't think he thinks big blocks were right, but he is certainly, he did show me, he questioned the Lightning, and he did say, like, the irony is that Roger was right, but I don't think he's actually saying Roger was right in terms of we should have bigger blocks. I think what he's saying is we should be doing more research into increasing the block space, the block weight. Sorry, like more work can be done. Like we got 4 megabytes through a segment, right? Block weight. I'm completely out of my depth, but I think that's what he's saying.
I don't think we should mess with the parameters.
Okay.
We increased the block weight as a result of implementing SegWit.
Yeah.
But we should have kept it the same.
Okay.
To be equivalent to 1 megabyte.
Okay.
Because you remember when we had the crash, that put a lot of miners out of business. Core Scientific suffered massively. And this was because there was not enough pressure to keep fees high enough to let the miners earn enough.
Right, okay.
So if we didn't mess with what Satoshi had, it would have been better, actually.